Hi, it's Kim Arnold here today for Uniquely Creative, and today I'm doing a journal layout in Uniquely Creative's new 6-inch white journal using the pigment powders and a die cut from the Colour Crush collection. So what I've got here is an empty palette. I'm adding tiny bits of powder. Look, these are really, really, really pigment rich powders. You do only need a tiny bit, and that was way too much that I put out then. So the first powder I put out was Gumleaf Green. So I've just matched these up with that die cut from the Colour Crush collection. The second powder I used is the yellow, which is Lemon Yellow. The third powder that I've just put out is the orange. And this one now that I'm putting out is Rose Pink. As you can see, tiny bits of powder, and when I add water to these, they will just activate beautifully. This colour is the Denim Blue, and then I'm actually going to create a tealy colour next, so I'm adding a tiny bit of the Gumleaf Green, and I'm going to add some of the Sky Blue to that. Now I went with fairly equal portions of powder. The next colour is the soft purple colour, which is called Lavender Purple. And this is a really pretty pale grey purple with a slight shimmer in it. Is lovely. And then I am adding the last colour, which is just the Sky Blue by itself. And they are all the colours in the colour wheel die cut. Now I'm just getting a lead pencil, because what I'm going to do is mark all of the segments from the die cut just so that I know where I want to put each of the colours, and I'm going to put in a letter to show which colour goes into which part of the wheel, just so that I make sure I add colours where it should be. Those pencil marks will all be hidden once the die cut is added. I'm using a medium-sized round brush, just adding water to those pigments, and you can see how rich that colour is. I've also got a spray bottle handy, so I'm just adding a little bit of extra water to move the colour around, and now I'm just going to work around the wheel, adding the colour and adding some splatters where I need to fill out that segment of the colour wheel. So that was the orange that you just saw. This is the rose pink. I'm not necessarily adding all the pigment powder initially with the water. As I said to you, very rich colours. So like that rose pink is very rich. So I didn't add all the powder. You can see some of the powder still sitting there with the water, so you don't have to activate it straight away. I'm also adding splatters as I go. You can see that I'm mixing up the blue and green, and I decided that there was a bit too much green in there, so I then mixed up on the other side of the powder and only pulled a small amount of the green. You could see that it made the most beautiful teal colour, which matched up lovely with the colour wheel die cut. Now this is the purple. I did have a bit of an issue because my water has started to tint up quite a lot from the rich colour of the pigment and mixing those pigment powders. But I just used the purple to push aside some of that teal colour, and it worked really well. So this is the sky blue by itself here, and I'm just filling in that last segment. A little bit of extra water to that to get it to spread. Then I added some water around the whole circle just so that the pigments were sort of blending into each other and moving out towards the edge of the journal page. And I'm just using a little bit of paper towel then to clean up the edges if it was getting too close to the journal page. Now to the edge of the page. I added a bit of extra of that purple, and now I'm using a heat gun to dry it all. The paper in this journal is divine. It is so heavy and holds up really well to having lots of moisture added to it, and it is fine with hitting the heat gun on it. Now I'm just going back and adding splatters of each of the colours over the top of the initial colour, and what that does is add more dimension to the colours when they dry, and you'll see that in the close-up pictures of the page at the end of this video. You'll be able to see that there's lots of different variation in the colours by adding those extra splatters on top. Use the heat gun, dry it again. Now I've decided that I'm going to add some of the vellum die cut from that Colour Crush collection that match up with the colours of the wheel and the colours that I've used in the pigment powders. So purple to purple, teal to teal, etc. And I'm just going through and sorting out all those little leaves. So they're all vellum leaf elements. I'm matching them up around the circle. I apologise that they got a bit out of video there, but I just matched them up and then stuck them down with all of the colours. So I cut all that out because it took ages of pulling apart all of the various backings. So remember, the vellums are stickers, so peel off the backing and stick them over the colours, and then I stuck the colour wheel down. I'm now using a rub-on from the Colour Crush collection, adding that to the centre of my colour wheel. I'm now going to activate some of the Noir pigment powder, which is the black, and I'm activating that with water. I wanted to make it a bit blacker, and then I'm going to use it to splatter across the journal page, which will tie in the black writing from the rub-on. Now that's all of the elements that I'm adding to this journal page, and I'll bring it up closer so that you can see the detail. There's also going to be some photos following where you'll be able to see all of the detail of this page and the variation in the colour created by layering the different pigment powders and then the splatters of the black over at the end of the page. Thank you very much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again here on YouTube. Thanks very much. Bye.